Good morning. Welcome back to the Football Terrace. Frank Lampard out is trending worldwide. A number of Chelsea supporters are absolutely fuming with the embarrassing 3-1 defeat to Arsenal. There's, of course, there's always emotional outcry after an embarrassing defeat. But, of course, that's on the back of a really bad run of form. A really bad run of form that has seen Chelsea lose 3 of their last 4 games. They're on a downward trajectory in terms of league progression. Only a 46% win ratio in the Premier League. And of course, a lot of Chelsea fans were talking about winning the title. A lot of Chelsea fans believe they had Jurgen Klopp and Liverpool's number. Remember, they're nearly 20% behind the curve now. Nearly 20% behind the curve to be able to win the league at the moment. Liverpool sitting there with the best win ratio in the league at 64%, Chelsea dwindling on 46. Only 12 wins out of 23 games so far this season for Frank Lampard. And it does appear there are a number of Chelsea fans just starting to lose their cool with him. Now, I want your views. I want your opinions. I want to know what you're thinking and feeling. Do me a favor, first of all, and smash the like button, please. It's really important to the Football Terrace we get that done. I am going to try and apply a little bit of balance. Because, listen, I'm not a Chelsea fan. Everybody knows that. But that's why you all love the Football Terrace, because it's neutral. We're here to challenge. You can call into the show. The link is inside the description below. So the StreamYard link is there. I do want to hear from Chelsea fans and neutrals alike. But let's go through some of the facts. Lampard hasn't improved so far this season on last year. His first season at Chelsea saw him have a win percentage of 52%. At this stage last season, he was sitting on 29 points in the league. So the overall win percentage in all competitions remains at 52% this season. So no improvement there. In the league, as I say, there's been a regression. Only a 46% win ratio, leading to just 25 points in the 15 games played, meaning there's been a 14% regression so far this season in the league. Interestingly as well, to put it into context, Chelsea are closer to Arsenal's win percentage right now than they are Man United's and mainly Liverpool's in relation to that. The run of bad form is clear to be seen. And I think on top of it, you've got the new superstars. You have the £250 million spent this summer. Plus, of course, the Kovacic and the Pulisic that were added into Lampard's squad as well. So over £300 million spent by the football club during the tenure, plus the new salaries, etc. So there are a lot of Chelsea fans getting angry with Timo Werner not performing, Kai Havertz not performing as well. But I do want to know what people are thinking and feeling. Is it over the top? Is it too reactionary from Chelsea fans to call for Lampard's head? I thought they were looking to build something for the future. I thought this was about a long-term plan, using young players, buying young players, developing for the future, creating a brand of football that is going to be synonymous and iconic to Chelsea Football Club. I was told 12 months ago, I was told 6 months ago, I was told 2 months ago that this was a new plan. It was a 3, 4, 5 year process to get things where they're needed. Now, suddenly, it's Lampard out. It's unequivocal. Get him out the club. He's out of his depth. He doesn't know what he's doing. That's what we're being told. That's what we're hearing. But I want your views and opinions. Daniel here says, I am not Lampard out. Never can't say the same. Oh, I'm not Lampard out. Never can't say the same for others, is what Daniel's saying this morning. I get that completely. There's a comment here that says, get to Shell in now, save our season, Roman. Will here. Do you know what's mad about it, though? I did a ranking of the Premier League managers just 3 weeks ago. Lampard was ranked the highest. He was ranked the highest by myself and by the majority of you viewers. He gelled the squad quickly. You were in the title charge. Of course, he's lost 3 of his 4 games since then. But that's what I mean by, is this not reactionary? What if he wins his next 3 or 4 games on the bounce? You could be back top of the league. Is it not too knee-jerk to right now, at this moment, say sack him? I get there's only a 46% win ratio. I understand he hasn't improved win-wise on last year. I understand that your 2 superstar signings are yet to click in this team. Is it really right at this moment in time to sack Frank Lampard? Sorry, I've got a bit of a runny nose today. Simpy M here says, Terry, it was a shocking performance from Chelsea, and I don't think that Lampard's chosen the players had taken this performance, and the players had taken this performance seriously enough. I think there was a bit of complacency yesterday. I totally get that. I really do. Don't forget, he lost 12 games last year. He was never good. He did lose 12. He did lose 12. So far this season, I'm not sure exactly how many have been lost this year. I'll go and check now. I was looking at that a moment ago. I know that they've drawn and lost collectively, I think, 12 games this season. I mean, there's only been in all competitions 4 defeats this year, and they've all been in the Premier League. So, and you went through a period in all competitions, I think, that spanned 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. You went 17 games unbeaten. So if you was to go 17 games unbeaten from here again, that'd be brilliant. So I just can't help but sit there and think, maybe, just maybe, being embarrassed by Arsenal yesterday is kind of clouding the thoughts of Chelsea fans somewhat this morning. Max here says, if Liverpool win today, they are 9 points off the top. Yes, they will be 9 points off the top, which is a fair way. But Liverpool have drawn 4 games this season. They've lost 1. If they repeat that in the next 14 games, there's opportunities there for Chelsea. And Chelsea will click with Lampard. Timo Werner will come good. Kai Havertz will come good. These are talented young players that need time to settle in a new country. And maybe we all just got a little bit ahead of ourselves when they went for a little period where it was looking very, very good and they were purring. And they're just going for a bit of a downturn right now. Whoever else comes in, whether it's Tuchel, whether it's Nagelsmann, whether it's Allegri, they're all going to face the same problem with this young Chelsea squad, especially with bringing in 6 or 7 new players in one window. It's going to take time for those new managers are not going to get these players to gel quicker. That isn't going to happen. I think sacking Frank Lampard would be a big mistake for Chelsea. I think it would set you back. I don't think much would change. I think Chelsea fans today just got to wake up and absorb the embarrassment and take it on the chin. That's how I feel about this right now. I think they've just got to take it on the chin a little bit more, be a little stronger as people, and say, do you know what? We just got to stick through this. We've got to ride through it. Because you're not the Chelsea squad of 05, of 08, of 09, of 2011, where you've got world-class, experienced Premier League players in your spine, where a new manager, a top-class manager, can come in and galvanize. You have a young, some inexperienced, some brand new to the Premier League squad. It needs time to gel. You're not playing bad like Arsenal have been. Yes, you've had a really crappy run of 4 or 5 games, but it will turn around. Lampard will turn that around, there's no doubt. Not in my mind. I think he's a very talented young manager on the way up. But we're going to play you a clip in a minute, and then we're going to go to these calls. Make sure you're smashing that like button, people. We're not even past 100 likes yet. Come on, my people. Get that like button smashed right now. But I want to show you a clip. This is from Midnight Vibes. 2 months ago to the day of the 26th of October, when Man United and Chelsea drew. And my guy, Pastor KJ, said that a lot of Chelsea fans were angry after that. And it wasn't so much because they drew. They were projecting a lot of anger onto other teams, but it was more to do with the fact that secretly a lot of people were Lampard out. They just didn't want to put their heads above the precipice to say it. I'm going to play you that clip because I want your thoughts and I want your feelings on it. I'm going to put it on the screen right now, and we're going to take a little look at what man said.
Not actually mad about the way United played. They are mad because their 150 million plus attack was out there stinking up the joint, looking absolutely trash, coming up against a kit model and a fridge, plus a guy who loves eating a bit too much, and a guy who's out there adultering with Babylon. Like, you couldn't defeat this. And all you guys are doing is projecting your frustration that the fact that your attack is looking a bit weak and you guys are really Lampard out. That's what it is. You guys really want to say Lampard out with your chest, but you can't right now. So what you guys are doing is projecting it onto other teams and other things, fam. It is what it is. But Today we're here at
and
the
KJ,
Church of Vibes.
go check that out. Midnight Vibes, great show run by my guy KJ, and I think he was right. I think do you know what? I'm gonna call these guys, they're my friends, so I can call them out. I think Nika, I think Monster, I think David, I think Jim, I think all these people genuinely deep down in their heart have been Lampard out for a while now. I don't know why, because I think he's quite a talented manager, but maybe I'm missing something because I'm not a Chelsea man. Big up yourself, Rory. Maybe I'm missing something. But I do want your views. I do want your opinions. Make sure you're smashing the like button. Go into the link in the description below and sign up to our Discord server right now as well. We're going to start jumping into some calls. First person on the line, I've got to get him on. He's my guy. Man like Kai, not Kai Havertz. This is crazy Kai, mad Kai, angry Kai. Well, good morning, mate. What you saying?
Yeah, good morning, Terry. I'm sad, man. I'm honestly heartbroken.
Why?
An Arsenal team that couldn't win in November just came. Arteta outclassed Lampard. Lampard just sat there with his arm crossed, looking like a effing idiot. I don't want to curse. It's too early in the morning for me, but it's just heartbreaking, man. It's this form is just it's not maintainable. It's like what now? Three defeats in 4 games. Less than 50% win rate, the worst ever in any Chelsea manager. I just cannot see the optimism that you can see with him, because I've seen a lot of Chelsea managers, and for me, he's by far the worst manager out there. As far as his game management and all that stuff.
I do understand that, but that's because he's the most inexperienced of all the managers that you have brought to the club. And I think that when you bring in a fledgling, and you did. He had 1 year experience under his belt and 0 years experience at the elite level. He's going to make mistakes. It's going to take time. He's also had that transfer ban. He's then brought in 7 or 8 players in one transfer window that takes time to gel. And it's not as though, when you look at a lot of the managers that have given you success, look who they had as their, generally speaking, as their core group. Yep. And since that core group kind of left, you had success with 1 year basically with Jose in 2.5 before he got sacked. You had 1 good year with Conte. You had nothing, like Sarri's thing was always marred. You haven't really had consistent good seasons since that core group left your football club. And I was under the impression, only by what Chelsea fans were telling me, that you were trying to rebuild a core. Now, to rebuild that core, it's going to take you 2 or 3 years. So I don't think Allegri, Nagelsmann, Tuchel, or Tuchel, I heard people say it literally 2 different ways. I don't think any of them are going to make this group of players gel. Like, Allegri's great, but he can't suddenly make Timo Werner's like mindset and body be able to match up to the physicality of the Premier League straight away. Yes, he might play him as a central striker. That might help him a little bit. But Kai Havertz has looked a little bit off the pace as well. It's going to take time. You know, no new manager is going to stop Pulisic's body from breaking. No new manager is going to stop Ziyech from being injury prone. Because that's my concerns with Pulisic and Ziyech. I think they're both highly talented boys, but their bodies are absolutely made of biscuit. So I think there's bigger problems here than Frank Lampard. And I just think this kind of sacking of the manager in this circumstance for Chelsea could have bigger, longer sort of negative effects.
I disagree, Terry. I honestly disagree, because a manager who knows what he's doing, a manager who had experience at top flight football. Let's be realistic. Lampard's biggest job before Chelsea was Derby, a championship team, and he failed in getting them promoted. Right? And then he came to Chelsea. He had the most defeats of any other manager before him, and now he had something like 6-7 new signings. By the way, the signings that he made are not average players. Those players were Werner was the second highest scorer in Europe, and he plays him as a effing winger to Tammy effing Abraham. He plays Kai Havertz as an 8 when he's a 10. He just plays the players. He just tried to fit them around the youth instead of rather building us a team that can win titles, a team that can gel. What's the point if we have all these players? We have people can tell me, oh, we don't have any wingers. We have Odoi. He could have played Odoi. Odoi with 1 foot plays better than Werner as a winger with both. So I don't mind Werner getting to the bench if we're gonna have an actual natural winger. But this 3 defeats in 4 games, I cannot accept it from a Chelsea manager. I don't care who you are. You can be Lampard, you can be Roman Abramovich himself. And by the way, Roman Abramovich himself fired his friend for a less sackable offense. To lose to this Arsenal is a effing disgrace there. This is the worst Arsenal team I've saw in my life.
Kai has had his say there. Kai, thank you for coming on, having your say, mate. Really do appreciate it, my brother. Thank you very, very much. Next up, we are going to get Latimer's Prime on the show. Laddie, do you agree with what Kai's saying there?
Yes.
So you're Lampard out as well.
Well, to be honest, Harry, I've been realistic about him since he came in. People like Monster and stuff setting these weird, unrealistic dream goals, like we're going to dominate and win the league and stuff like that. And when I keep saying, no, settle, that's not going to happen because one, with a young squad, two, with a young, inexperienced manager, it doesn't mesh and mold like that. Here's the thing. Do we get rid of Frank now and bring in, say, Tuchel or whatever? The thing is this. We've seen with Chelsea in the past, and even Terry, you've covered it a lot from like even 2 years ago with UFF and everything, saying that Chelsea has a mentality problem within their squad. The fact that we bottle tools for managers and get them sacked is definitely a problem. If players in this squad are clearly playing for him, right? Even people can talk about his tactics and whatever, whether he's good enough. Players are clearly playing for him. If he gets sacked and we bring in another manager, who's to say that they will always be playing for the next manager? That isn't going to be I don't know if that's going to be the case.
The way I look at it, I understand a lot of what Kai was saying as well about, play Hudson-Odoi in the wing. He's better than. Do you know what's weird about Hudson-Odoi? I've seen, other than skills and flicks, and we know I'm not a fan of flicks and tricks without end product. I've seen very little from Hudson-Odoi since he's been in a Chelsea shirt under a couple of managers that makes me believe he is as good at actually performing at the highest level as people say he is. I don't know if he's ability to perform. I feel like there's a part of me with Callum Hudson-Odoi that feels like he's a bit of a Crystal Palace player. He's an ability merchant. If I'm being honest, but then he does need, but to be fair to him, what he needs is a run of games. But then people have to start asking themselves, why is it two managers running now that he hasn't been given a run of games? There comes a point where you've got to look at the player. The point I'm making is, though, the one thing that where I disagree with Kai is this is not the previous era at Chelsea where every new manager coming in had Petr Cech, had John Terry, had Frank Lampard, had Didier Drogba, had this core that was so good, you could build something from there. You're trying to rebuild your core. And I think to rebuild a core in this era, you need to have a little bit of sustainability. I think you need some consistency. And I think sacking Frank Lampard now, I don't think Tuchel, I don't think Nagelsmann, I don't think they can come into this team at this specific moment and just make all these new players click and gel. Yes, there could be a little spike, and that spike normally appeases people for 2 or 3 months. But what if you're back in this situation again in 6 months' time? I just think it could be a little bit knee-jerk and a little bit reactionary. Give a manager a bit of time to turn things around. I think what needs to be done. But Prime, thank you very much for coming on, mate. I'm going to jump in some other calls, mate. I'll chat to you soon. Top man, thank you. Next up on the show, we're going to get Indiana on the show. Indiana, what you saying, bro?
Morning, Terry.
Morning, my friend. What do you make of Chelsea fans calling for Lampard's head today?
Chelsea fans are emotional, reactionary, and spoiled. Here's the thing with Chelsea fans, that they're used to seeing Roman sack managers after Champions League wins. They're used to seeing top players coming in, and I think they have done that this season. I think they have brought in top players. When you throw 6 players into a side, it takes time for them to gel. Why is Frank in the job in the first place? What are his targets? What has Roman set his targets as? That's what I want to know, because I don't think it's to win the league. There's no quick fix there to bed in players. Yesterday was a player problem. When you can't make a 5-yard pass to the man next to you, no system or tactics are going to fix that problem. There is a mentality issue. There is. We've seen it with Man United at the start of the season. It wasn't tactics or system. The players just weren't in the right place mentally. I don't agree with the whole tiny thing on the wing. I don't agree with that. If you get in the box and you get chances and you put them wide, it's got nothing to do with your starting position for one. I agree he's not a winger, but in terms of him not taking his chances, that's got nothing to do with it. Callum Hudson-Odoi, he's obviously not at the level that Chelsea fans would like him to be, like you said, because of the amount of managers he's been under and not got games. he's been injury prone. Maybe they manage his time. Maybe they're looking for a certain level of fitness with him. Maybe it's his attitude. I don't know. But they need to get off this train of Callum Hudson-Odoi is the fix. Timo Werner's not going to play not playing up front, because as long as Tammy scores goals, he is playing. That's it.
Yeah, do you know what? I listen. The Hudson-Odoi thing, the jury's out for me. The jury is out, and where I will concede on the argument about Hudson-Odoi is, I want to see him given a solid run of games before I completely judge him. But whenever I watch him play, I see a lot of flicks, I see a lot of tricks, I see a lot of ability, but I just see a hell of a lot, a lack, of sort of end products. And it appears to me, as an example, like half the time he crosses the ball, it's always too deep, or it's too short, or it goes out for a corner, a goal kick. Now, that might just be me kind of not. I get why Chelsea fans want him to work. Everybody wants their young superstar talents from their academy to actually make it. But that's the one thing I'd say you get an answer for. If imagine Allegri comes in or Tuchel comes in and he still doesn't play him. You know, my question to Chelsea fans saying Hudson-Odoi's got to start is, how many managers on the bounce not starting him and not playing him, pushing down the pecking order will it take for you to say that there's a? And we don't know what the problem is, so we're only speculating, but there is a problem. That's what I would say. So, overarching view, do you think Chelsea fans are being too reactionary today when it comes to sacking?
Of course they are. Look, what happened last season with Man United and Ole? Like, we went on a run at the end of the season. This is the weirdest season we've ever seen. Chelsea could go on a run right now, and this will all be forgotten about. I just think it's too reactionary. Monster's the cause of this issue, because he bigged the team up and said that they were going to be walking Champions League groups, praying for the rivals, winning the league.
Yeah,
you know, we're not going to see these players until next season. Like I've said that this is why I jump on the Timo Werner thing, because I was told he was going to come in and be the top goal scorer in the league. Like it's going to take him a season to bed in. It's not going to be until next season that we see this team click. It's just not going to happen.
And I think I actually think that's it. It's people, they're not giving it time to set. And do you know what I mean? Like, when you build a trifle, you can't just eat it out of, you know what I mean? You got to make it. It's got to set. You got to do it properly, bro. It takes time to get those 3 very tasty layers to work. If you try and eat it too soon, it's going to be a bit yucky, brother. Listen, Indiana legend as always. Thank you for coming on, mate, and having your say. Next up, we're going to get man like Ches. We couldn't get him on yesterday. Ches is here with us now. Before we do that, though, smash the like button for us right now, people. Ches is on the show. What you saying, bro?
You saying, Terry? I didn't get sweet yesterday. It was all
I know. Everything was just full, and your connection.
Good stream, though. Good stream.
I appreciate it. But what's your thoughts today? Do you think Chelsea fans are overreacting a lot today? I just put a little thing up there from Twitter. Thousands of tweets calling for Lampard to be sacked. Anita called for him to be sacked. Monster called for him to be sacked last night. What's your opinion, bro?
I've been so looking forward to having my opinion. Basically, people are jumping on the bandwagon so early. Like, I've never been Lampard out, even when we lost against Everton and Wolves, but I've been very frustrated with the way we're playing. And I think that everything you said today kind of epitomizes what I think about him so far and Chelsea. I think that people have no patience. They expect him to... What people expect when he came in? What, just to win the league? There were 50 games unbeaten in Champions League and the Prem, and to fight on all cylinders. Like, let's be real here. Like, it's going to take time. He's trying to build a core. He's trying to build a new team together. And these performances will happen. That's why I'm kind of indifferent. If he left, do I think we could improve a new manager? Maybe. But we might not. And they might be sitting here like, oh, Nagelsmann's come in and he's a young manager, whatever, and he's not doing as well as we thought he would. And then we're all like, where's Lampard gone? We should have just stayed with him for a while. So people just react.
Revisionism is an interesting one, because I've seen Man United fans in recent weeks talk about it. We shouldn't have ever sacked Jose. We shouldn't have ever sacked LVG. I've even seen people say things like, in recent weeks, I really wish we had Fellaini in the team. We could really have done with him in that game. Revisionism and rewriting history is very, very dangerous, really. And I just agree. I just think right now, at the very minimum, give Frank until the end of the season and see how the land lies.
That's the saying. Give Frank to the end of the season.
Every manager, no matter how good they are, is going to have the same big problem of getting this new squad to gel. The Callum Hudson-Odoi argument, I still feel like, you know, when you guys went on that really good run when everybody was buzzing, you went on that 17-game unbeaten run. Yeah. There was a period in that time where in all competitions, I think you won 6 or 7 on the bounce. No Chelsea fan in that 17-game run really was crying about Hudson-Odoi. None of them were. They were moaning at the start of the season when you I think you drew something like 5 out of 6 games. I heard Hudson-Odoi, play Hudson-Odoi.
Yeah,
Then 10, 11 games, you didn't hear his name mentioned because you were winning. As soon as you stop winning, straight away, Hudson-Odoi. So
that pulls another thread, Terry. Like we put on there, people like to be in the trend. So as soon as oh wait, it must be because Hudson-Odoi. Yeah, it's maybe Lampard again. Just looking for scapegoats, easy ways out.
It don't make sense to me, bro. I just think it's really, really disrespectful to him. I do. Ches, we'll chat to you again later, my bro. We're gonna jump into some more calls. Thank you, my brother. Super chat here says, "I'm never Lampard out. The squad has the mentality issue stemming from Conte's last season. Fix that, and we will improve." Ty has spoken there. Thank you for the super chat, my friend. Next up, my brother is here. Pastor KJ, what you saying, my friend?
I'm good, you know. Obviously that clip, I wish you played it longer because the neatest reaction to it was beautiful. But we weren't talking about that too much. I'm just going to be quick with my couple of points. First of all, the whole Lampard thing. I said when United lost to Derby in the Carabao Cup under Jose, I said, you know what, yeah, Lampard to Chelsea at some point wouldn't be a bad idea. Maybe he got there early, but at the time I was thinking it made sense. If you're going to get rid of Sarri and you're saying you need a Chelsea man to fix the team and that, cool, then bring in Lampard because he's a young manager, he looks like it's going to be good. He needs time to develop as a manager. Is Chelsea the club to do that at? We will have to see. Chelsea fans at the start were telling me they've changed as a club. They're going to now do this long process thing. All right, cool. Like, if that is the case, then you shouldn't be calling him to be out. But at the same time, it's not like an Arsenal situation or United situation where they hate their board and they don't trust their board and they feel like the club is ran badly. It's actually the fact that, no, they think the club is ran well and they've got the players to do well, so the manager is the way it falls at. And personally, a part of me is like, yeah, cool, that's a fair argument. I can see that. But me personally, Lamps will be fine. Just losing to Arsenal sucks. And just give him time and he'll figure it out. I'm here to challenge you though, Terry.
Mm-hmm.
This whole Callum Hudson-Odoi thing that you're on,
yeah,
I think you have a personal disposition about certain types of players, so you find it harder to give them fair critique than other players.
In what way?
In terms of, so Callum Hudson-Odoi comes on, gets the assist for Tammy Abraham yesterday. Very good cross. In games where he's needed to impact the game and and do something, this season he has done that. Scored in Champions League, assisted in that comeback against West Brom.
Yep.
He's been performing well when he has played. So it is where the fact that Chelsea fans are calling for him isn't out of blind faith. There's actually evidence to say that he's been performing better than the players that are playing in his positions. He deserves to play. Now I just feel that because you've got Zaha in your head and then you got ASM in your mind, you're like, he's the same as them. So now,
I hear that. Like I said, and I was fair to him. What I want to see Callum Hudson-Odoi given is a fair run of games to prove me right or prove me wrong. And I'm talking about, I'd love to see Callum Hudson-Odoi start 10, 12 games. You're never going to chuck that many on the bounce in this season because of the gaps between matches. But I would like to see him given that opportunity. My argument isn't about my disposition with players. It's the fact that 2 managers running have never really given him an opportunity. That tells me something. Now, Frank Lampard has given lots of players opportunities, but not him. Sarri, talented manager. I think he's one of those weird managers that's kind of really overlooked. I think Sarri's biggest issue is he was never really a player, I don't think. So there's always been an issue with players they have. Hudson-Odoi, let's just think about it. And what I mean is the fact that 2 managers running have not given him that opportunity. But equally, when Chelsea won that good run, nobody was mentioning his name. Now, for me, whether Man United are winning or losing, I want to see Mason Greenwood given opportunities because I want to see him develop. That's my argument with it. Now,
there was a handful of Chelsea fans saying now is the time to let Cho get some game time, or why can't Cho get some minutes? Like, and Chelsea fans on this channel, even when they're winning, it's like one thing they've got is what does Callum Hudson-Odoi have to do to get minutes? And even with a player like Tomori now, who's looking like he's going to leave, they were raving about him last season, and now Chelsea fans are confused about where he's at. And in terms of what happened you say under two managers, he was injured for like the whole of like a big portion of a season. And remember when he came back, there's an excuse of, but he's just come up from a big injury. So to say that under two managers hasn't really got game time is unfair because he injured for an extended period of time.
Well, I think but I get that. But then he's been there this season and he hasn't been given. My question, it's not a disposition. It's try and look at things deeper than just what I don't believe is that people Lampard has an issue with Hudson-Odoi. There's something wrong with Hudson-Odoi. Like he's got a bullying thing. I'm like, I don't think it is. That there has to be something that Hudson-Odoi is not doing for him to not be given opportunities. There has to be a reason that when you go into an FA Cup final against Arsenal, you drop Willian from the squad because he's moving to Arsenal. You have Pedro that's leaving that summer, but Hudson-Odoi can't get into that first team or substituted on in front of them. That for me, I think it's ridiculous to not look at that as a case in point to say, what is the issue? Now, is it a training issue? Is it a fitness issue? Is it an attitude issue? I'm not going to speculate because I don't know. And I know it's very, very easy to label young players like Hudson-Odoi as having bad attitudes. I'm not saying he has got a bad attitude. It might just be in training when they're running drills, the guy messes up 5 times out of 10 and Lampard's like, I can't take the risk. I don't know. Like, I'm just saying there has to be a reason for that. I think using Hudson-Odoi as a tool right now against Lampard, for me, I think it's a little bit of a stretch. I think it's clutching for straws right now because I've seen Hudson-Odoi do some really good things, but I haven't seen from Hudson-Odoi what I've seen from Mason Greenwood. I haven't seen from Hudson-Odoi what I've seen from Phil Foden. I haven't seen from Hudson-Odoi what I've seen from Saka. So in terms of certain players, Saka's a player I praise a lot because with Saka, every time I see him in the team, I see someone that fits the system. I see someone that works hard. I see someone that's delivering. With Hudson-Odoi, I see a lot of great skills, tricks and flicks, and then a lot of just running into dead ends. That's what I see. So for me, I don't have any disposition against any particular type of player. I know some people are going to twist your words into, is Terry being racist here?
Oh, no.
I know you're not. Some people will, but absolutely not. If you go through the one player in the world that I sit there and defend the most, demographically fits the same as Callum Hudson-Odoi. So it isn't that for me. Mine's more.
Here's my question to you then. You're Lampard now. You've got I don't know for what reason you're playing Werner on the left here, and it's just not working. Like it's not working, and you can clearly see this needs to change. Ziyech is out, and Pulisic is playing that left hand side now. So you got Pulisic on the left. The right hand spot is there. Are you telling me you wouldn't? You wouldn't put faith in him, or you would put faith
I would. See, this is where I think you're misconstruing me. I would give Hudson-Odoi an opportunity. Right now, as Frank Lampard, managers don't do. I'm thinking as a fan, but I would put Cho in for 3 or 4 of the important games in the next few weeks. Then you get your answers. If he delivers, then you're a hero for playing him. If he flops, then it just shuts everybody up. So for me, I want. By the way, I want Hudson-Odoi to be brilliant. Biggest reason is he's English. And I want talented players playing for my country. I never want an English player to fail because I've got a vested interest in them. You know, with Mason Mount stepped up this season, I feel, playing a different position. That's great. If he keeps getting better, it's brilliant for us. Jack Grealish excites me because he's English and he can play for my country. So Hudson-Odoi fits into that category as well. I would, if I was Frank Lampard, give Hudson-Odoi a chance. Me as a neutral, I want to see him given an opportunity because the one thing, if he doesn't get game time and then he leaves, is you never actually get your answer. Whether you're a big supporter of Hudson-Odoi or you're someone like me that's skeptical, or if you're someone that thinks he's complete trash, and I don't put myself in that category, if he doesn't play, none of you are proven right or wrong because there's no evidence because he's never really given a run of games. And I think coming on from the bench isn't always a great barometer because Iheanacho at City was brilliant from the bench. And he's gone on to another club and he can't get into the first team. So I think that's why I remain reserved until a player. We've had the answers this year, Curtis Jones. I said this about Curtis Jones last year, same thing as an example. I said to a lot of Liverpool fans, he looks great when he comes on from the bench. He looks brilliant when he plays in dead rubbers, when he's surrounded by brilliance. But what can he do in clutch games, in important games where he is started from the beginning? This season, he's answered it. He's gone, I can step up and play. Now, I'm not going to judge Hudson-Odoi on that because he needs to be given the opportunity to prove it. However, if the manager doesn't give him a chance, we have to ask, why is he not being given an opportunity? I don't think that's an unfair question to sort of pose. But I think the overall Lampard out thing, I think that the choice, the show situation is a separate issue. I get playing I look at the Werner thing and agree they shouldn't be playing him in those areas. I think they've got big issues with Pulisic and maybe even big issues with Ziyech, because those boys seem to be broken. They're always breaking down and getting injured. That's why it will frustrate them that Hudson-Odoi isn't getting given the opportunity.
To the point where I've seen Chelsea fans. Oh, this is what I love, and I don't like Chelsea fans for this reason. Them men are already saying, you know what? Yeah, we need to buy Haaland. Them men have got 4 strikers, fam. 4. They've got Batshuayi out on loan, Giroud, Tammy, and Werner. So what is it, bruv? Because apparently Werner, was supposed to be the best striker in the league, or one of the best strikers in the league coming in, innit? And I was like, you know, that ain't a bad assessment because of what he did in Germany. I like Werner. I'm one of the people giving him time. I don't make fun of Werner because I'm like, you know what, yeah, I think he could be a good player. I think he's a very good player. He's just playing out of position. But if you were like that, and you're already saying, get Haaland, bring in Haaland, I'm just like, you man are just spoiled kids with a wish.
Yeah. They're like those kids. It's the 27th of December. They're already bored of the toys they got for Christmas. So they're like, Dad, take me to the mall so I can get something else. That's literally because I'm bored already. I totally get that. A Strip Bear, thank you for your super chat. I did put it up on the screen, but I'll read it out now as well. It said, hated last night. It's lost to Arsenal. Well done, by the way. But my favourite manager died, Jim McLean. That last night too. I don't know who that is. Wish fans had the power to change things, but only Roman can. Comment here from Daniel says Hudson-Odoi is apparently set to start against Villa. Lampard has confirmed, and that's good. And listen, as I say, I've got no. It's a bit like the thing. Like I do have an issue with. Do you know what my issue is? I do take my issue, my preferences out on players, and I shouldn't. But my issue really isn't with Zaha or Schlupp or any of these man.
Wait, the whole of Crystal Palace.
Yeah, but you know what? But the most of that Palace squad, if you actually go through it and do some research and look at like the MacArthurs and these lads in midfield, 10 years ago, these guys were predicted to be superstars and they're not. The problem I have with them is that because technically they're good footballers, people elevate them too much and it annoys me. I just get frustrated with ability merchants who never achieve the level.
I've got my Burnley agenda. You have your Palace agenda. It's okay. You know what I'm saying?
It isn't so much, but they've all just ended up at Palace, if that makes sense. But it's like I watched them against 10 men at Villa yesterday, and I'm just like, see, it's nearly all smoke and mirrors. And obviously, they've got that young lad whose name I forget, Isa. Is it Easy? Isa? Eze. Like, again, I don't put him in that category because he's still young. But if I hate it when I see these 27-year-olds with great technique. He's one for the future. Well, he's 20. Like, by the way, I have the same issue with Jesse Lingard. There's great technique there at times and there's ability. Man still looked at like as a child.
Oh, Lingard to Palace. Yes.
Exactly. Yes. So, do you understand my views now? Lingard is a Palace player. Lingard is a Palace player.
Lingard needs to go there. And Balassi, go home, fam. Leave everything. Go home. Go back to Palace.
Balassi's a great example. And I mean no disrespect to these football players because they are what they are. My disrespect mainly goes to the people that over-egg them. Do you get where I'm coming from? It's like their skills are amazing, but that's look. Is it Jeremy Lynch, the Arsenal fan who's like a YouTuber? There's all the skills in that.
Oh yeah, F2 Skiller, yeah, Jeremy, yeah.
And listen, I see a lot of people beef that guy on socials. I don't really get it. I don't get involved in any of that nonsense. I look at his skills; they're wicked, but he's not a Premier League football player. Now, these guys are a lot better than him as footballers. I'm not putting him into that same category, but I don't know, man. I like my outputs, bruv, in terms of deliverance. And if you have both, if you had Zaha's skills and you had Rashford's output, you'd be the best attacking player in the league. There's no doubt about that. But people always get it misconstrued as far as I'm concerned. Cam says football is not serious anymore. No one gives time for anyone anymore. People only remember the bad things over the positive things, no matter what. That's the Cam.
Says Aaron good enough needs to go. Like, yo, Cam, you're my guy, fam. I love you, fam. But yo, if you're gonna say that, give Arteta time in that. But people, I'm gonna allow you guys to have your say in that. You know what? Peace out, everyone.
Speak to you later on today, mate. Take care, my man. Top man. Next up on the show, we're gonna have Daniel, who's an Arsenal fan. Daniel, what you saying, mate?
Afternoon, Terry. Hope you're well.
Yeah, I'm good, mate.
Yeah, it was a good performance yesterday. 3-1. I did say in the past we should have started Emil Smith Rowe, Saka, Martinelli together. And what happens? It brings creativity. You score goals. And those three, Antini played really well. And I was really proud of them. However, towards the end, I did see them starting to butt a little bit when they conceded the first goal when Chelsea scored the first goal. They conceded the penalty. After that, they conceded the penalty. If Jorginho scored that, he didn't. But if he did, I personally fear that Chelsea would have made that comeback because of that bottle mentality we had. But we didn't, and that's excellent. And I was very happy with the win. However, please, Arsenal fans, do not get carried away by this, because if you think this is going to change, it's not. It will literally not. It won't, because I know Arteta will drop people like Emil Smith-Rowe for the next game, and I personally think Arteta played them Emil Smith-Rowe, Martinelli, because people like Willian were injured. That's what I think. But if this won't change anything, I still want him gone.
No, and I understand that, and I think that's a fair thing to say. And I think that people like Arsenal fans shouldn't be getting themselves gassed and going over the top with these things. But Daniel, listen, appreciate you coming on, having your say, mate, and we'll chat to you again soon. Top man, Daniel, thank you. Next up on the show, we've got Z. Z, what you saying, brother?
I'm good, man. How's it going?
Yeah, no, long time no talk. We used to have those morning talks, and much in recent times, brother.
Mate, it's I don't know. It's hard to get on your show, mate. I'm gonna be quick, right? Quick points, really. First of all, congratulations to Arsenal. Take nothing away from them.
Yeah.
With Chelsea, I've said this before, they've been the most successful club in England for the past 15 years. But because of that success has been built up over 4 or 5 managers, they don't get credited as much. That legacy, they're not respected that much. Whereas teams like United and Arsenal, who've built it up over, different managers and who've had longevity. If Chelsea fans want that recognition amongst, the Uniteds and Arsenals and the Liverpools, and right now they are a bigger club than Arsenal, but if they want that recognition, they need to trust Lampard. My personal opinion, do I believe that Lampard is good? No, I don't think he can utilize the talent that he has at his disposal. He reminds me of, Southgate managing England. So it's a tricky one. What, do you want to give him enough time to learn on the job and then after get it right? Chelsea fans need to choose which way they want it. That's what it comes down to. The other point I want to say with Arsenal is I always thought Arsenal was going to beat Chelsea but lose to Brighton. Arsenal fans get caught up in their hype. Same way you are bigging up Xhaka. The same way he disrespected your badge. And after, if you lot lose to Brighton, or when you lose to Brighton, because I said it, you lot be throwing that player in the mud as well. And just what the other guy said as he left, as he just mentioned before, even when Arsenal were 3-0 up, you wouldn't even thought to put your house on them to secure the bag, because the simple fact that they done well yesterday, but they weren't convincing. They still look shaky. Yeah, that's my opinion, mate.
No, listen. I think with Arsenal, I think Daniel called on it earlier as well, talking about how they looked shaky when they conceded. I mean, if that penalty would have gone in, it would have been an interesting last 5 minutes or so. Arsenal was still very, very vulnerable, and I think they need to be very, very mindful. If Mason Mount doesn't hit the post and he scores, it could have been a very different game. I just think Arsenal fans need to be mindful of that. On the Lampard thing, again, I agree. I think Lampard needs to be given more time. I agree with Chelsea fans that Callum Hudson-Odoi needs to be given a bit more time. That isn't what my argument is against. I think sacking Lampard now could be more detrimental moving forward. Equally, if Hudson-Odoi isn't given his opportunity, fans have just got to ask why. And I always talk about this. When a player's not given time, when a player's dropped, it's more than what we see. We don't know what's going on behind the scenes. Ask yourself a question. There has to be a kind of a reason for that. But I would like to see him given an opportunity. There's no doubt whatsoever. Z, I appreciate you coming on, mate.
Have a good one.
And we'll chat to you again soon, brother. Thank you very, very much indeed. Next up on the show, we are going to go to Andrew, Winter Surfer in the house, big contributor of the Football Terrace. What you saying, brother?
All right, Terry. Hope you had a nice Christmas.
Yeah, I did, mate. It was lovely. Thank you. Yourself?
Well, not yesterday. But yeah, with Chelsea losing.
Yeah, Chelsea fan.
I've taken more time to reflect because I was more embarrassed and angry yesterday because that's in my lifetime that's the worst Arsenal team I've ever seen in my life. And what worried me more yesterday was when Frank's halftime substitutions. I mean, everyone saw the game plan we were trying to do. We were just literally just crossing it into the box.
Yeah.
And Tammy's not the best header of all. So why don't you bring Giroud on to either play with Tammy or replace Tammy? And then you're bringing on Jorginho. I mean, Jorginho is one of the slowest players in the world when you're chasing the game. And
yeah,
the only two things I saw Jorginho do was come on at half time and miss a penalty. That's all I saw him do. And yesterday, our first goal, Tammy's goal, was our first shot on target. And we only had 3 shots on target, including the penalty yesterday. And it just didn't make sense. Even Tammy, at one point, someone crossed into the box and only Kante was in there. And then later on, Tammy was crossing into the box and no one was in there. Our biggest problem, I think, is our midfield. There's no midfield runners going into the box.
Yep. So no midfield runners. I saw that yesterday. But you've also got to look at your wingers and your crossers. Why are they crossing the ball when no one's in the box?
That's what I mean. Giroud didn't even come on.
And that's
He didn't even come on.
I mean, Drew not being on's part of it, but there's equally the element of if you've got the ball in a wide position and no one's in, are you just crossing blindly? So this is what I mean. It becomes a combination of everything. So it doesn't matter whether it's Hudson-Odoi, whether it's Chil, or with Reece James. If no one's in the box, sometimes you have to just do that. If it's a fast move, so if there's a 1-2 touch little triangle, and a man's running towards the byline, and his only option is to whip it in, and no one's in there, I understand it. But sometimes I watch Chelsea yesterday. On many occasions, Chelsea had the ball, building the ball up nicely, and then have it in a wide position, and they cross, and no one's in there. And I'm thinking, if there's no one in there, and you can see no one's in there, you have to keep moving the ball until someone makes a run. It was just a waste of possession and it's just a stupid thing to do, in my view. Look, Giroud not coming on was an absolute. It was just stupid. I'd look at the whole situation. You're playing Arsenal, a team that's been absolutely on their knees. All you had to do is move the ball well, put them under pressure, press them when they were on the ball, and you'd have broken them. And you just didn't do it. And I think, for me, I feel a bit sorry for Tammy Abraham because I think I've said it all the time. I think he's a good player. I think he's a good squad player. I don't think he should be leading the line for a team of Chelsea's side. Giroud is a better player than him. Also, the last 6 away goals scored, I think, by Chelsea have all been scored by Olivier Giroud. So for what reason he didn't come on is absolutely beyond. I think he was the most important substitution that you could have made. Or take Tammy off and put Werner through the goddamn middle. I mean, that would have made sense.
And put Pulisic from the left.
Yeah, I mean, that would have made more sense. But again, maybe this is the only thing I'm going to defend Lampard with is maybe there's something bigger going on that we can't, that you as Chelsea fans, I don't care if I can see it or not. I'm not a Chelsea fan, really, that's going on that's going to kind of pay out later on down the line. But the one thing I do know is this, and I got called a hater for saying this a year ago, is will Roman allow a failure of a season? I think 95% of Chelsea fans that phone into this show, we have man like Forward and or a load of big Chelsea buds on Twitter were calling me a hater when I said, look, I'm not going to believe, and especially Forward on this, I'm not going to believe that Chelsea have changed their mindset of not sacking managers early until a manager fails in a season and they don't sack him. So if Lampard comes 5th and doesn't win a trophy after spending what he spent, if they keep him for another year, then I'll start to believe that Chelsea have changed their approach. I think they'll sack him anyway. I just don't think they're going to sack him now because at the moment, the season's still in the balance. You know, Liverpool drop some points in their next couple of games, which is plausible. And then Chelsea go on a 2 or 3 game winning streak.
Terry, look at Everton.
I wouldn't be overly concerned.
Look at Everton. Look at Everton for these 4 straight wins. They have 4 rubbish.
Exactly. Look at Everton and also look at Southampton. They're 9th. They were joint top 4 games ago.
That's what I'm saying. This might save him this season because you can lose like he's done 3 out of the last 4. And if he wins the next 3 games, which are all tricky, he then shoots up the table. So this season is just confusing for all of us, especially
and that's why I think this morning Chelsea fans are more embarrassed.
That's what it is.
Else. And the embarrassment is I need to react. I need to get away from the embarrassment by being angry, and I get it. And I just think that's where it is. But there we go. Listen, Winter Soldier, thank you very much for coming on, having your say. Really do Winter Surfer, sorry, not Winter Soldier.
No, it's all right.
That's me watching Marvel and seeing your shield there. But then everybody who's tuned in today, thank you very, very much as always. Smash that like button for us. Hit the share button as well. We tried to get as many of you on as we possibly could. Are you Frank Lampard in or are you Frank Lampard out? That's the big question. Hudson-Odoi going to start against Villa. Big opportunity for that young man. And let me just get this out there. I don't want to see any footballer fail to a certain degree. Of course, there's a part of me that doesn't want Hudson-Odoi to be world-class because he plays for a rival. Equally, if he is world-class, it will benefit my country from a footballing sense. But you have to ask yourself why players are not getting opportunities. You have to look beyond what's happening on the field. I remember screaming for Zaha to get opportunities at Man United and he didn't. And then he just then he went back to Palace. And then the man's 27, 28 and no big clubs ever come in for him. You have to ask yourself why. You have to ask yourself why. What is it that's stopping this individual from getting their opportunity? Stands out. And, you know, everyone may have a different of opinion as to why. I'd love to know. I'd love Lampard to tell us. I'd love him to come out and say. But equally, we don't want dirty linen being aired in public. So it becomes a bit of a catch-22. But next few games for Chelsea. They have to win. Their next match is, I want to say it's against Villa. I think it's against Villa. Yes. So they're at home to Villa tomorrow night, 5:30. We'll be live after that game. It's a must-win. Lose that game. I mean, Villa are already in front of them in the league with 2 games in hand, by the way. Villa have 2 games in hand over Chelsea. If they win those 2 games in hand and beat them, Villa could put themselves 3 points clear of Chelsea with 2 games in hand. And that will cement Chelsea into that 7th place position. Things will really get hairy. And 4 defeats in 5 if they lose. It's going to be huge. It's going to be massive. It really, really is.